What's up, y'all? This is Mike Manzer with another Manzer Faust Productions video, and welcome to 2024. I've done a couple of videos this year already, but this is really kicking into it because I am gonna do the metal tag, which is the first video that I did after my kind of pilot video of the cassette tag. There isn't a cassette tag this year that I was able to find, and I am not really into cassettes as much as I have been in the past these last 2 years, so whatever. If I do find one and the questions are good enough that I find it warranted, then I'll do a cassette tag. But I'm gonna start with metal. Coming up, I got punk and the genreless tag for all you. Obviously it's all vinyl. Pretty much most of what I show on this channel is vinyl, so comes to be expected. This year, a little bit different. Usually, the Rock Scout puts up this tag and people fill out the questions and answer them and stuff. This year is a little bit different. I guess he ran into some problems in his personal life or whatever. He was not able to make the video, so instead, one of my favorite channels, Heavy Metallurgy, fucking Marty and Alan have amazing live streams every week. Marty hosts two of them. Every Wednesday he has an album club where they pick a kind of either legendary or newer classic kind of metal album, some underrated kind of stuff, and they have a discussion, usually featuring another great YouTuber by the name of Killing for Company, also known Kellen. I love his stuff. And then on Friday, him and Alan, who has a channel called Let's Talk Metal, have like a giant, live stream with a guest, maybe multiple guests, and they have different subjects, year-round tables and everything like that. It's really cool. A lot of interesting subject matter, and I'm going to talk about them in another one of these tags. Not going to spoil any further than that. And also, Metal Mickey helped out as well. Really big on his channel. I will have both of their channels down there in the description. If for some reason you have not seen them yet, you found my channel, which I don't even think that's like possible, but whatever. They'll be down there in the description. Go support them. Awesome channels. And I will also be including the original video of the metal tag where they introduce the questions and talk about them. All that good stuff. So, yeah, without any more blabbering, which none of you are here for, let's get into the metal tag. And the first question is, name a release you're eagerly anticipating in 2024. And I'm really bad at tracking what's coming up in the next year. Like, I don't really have my finger on the pulse. When something comes out, that's when I know it's coming out. It's just kind of the way I do things. I've never really been like one who reads on upcoming things. Film, a little bit better, but not really. Unless they're like reissues and stuff like that. That I like to really pay attention to. But as far as like new releases, I kind of just wait for something to come out and then get excited about it when it's here. And I can actually give my own opinion on what I think of it. But one that stood out to me, and I think everyone's probably going to be talking about this because they're one of the most important metal bands of all time. And after their latest release a bunch of years ago, people have been just clamoring for this newest release. Just the last release they had was such a return to their power as like one of the best of those early British metal bands, and that's Judas Priest. And I'm really excited. Firepower was such a banger record. It'd been a long time, probably since Painkiller, that we had gotten such a banger of a record from Judas Priest. And it does seem to have a lot in common with Painkiller, and that's what I really loved about the energy and the songwriting of Firepower. But they're also pulling a bit from you know, Screaming for Vengeance, and even some of the classic like 70s stuff. So yeah, Firepower just blew me away. So without, you know, without question, that newest Judas Priest is definitely towards the top of my list. And I'd also like to mention, you know, every year we get this as an anticipated record, but the new King Diamond. I've been waiting on that thing since I saw him live in 2019, and never happened. And I'm really excited to hear it because when I saw him in 2019, he has never sounded better. His voice is amazing now, and that's insane because he just had that surgery a couple of years prior, and yeah, just hearing new King Diamond material. The last couple have kind of not done it for me. I believe the last one I was really into, which is not a popular one at all, was Puppet Master. I kind of have a love of that record, despite kind of the goofy production choices on it. But I definitely interested in hearing a brand new King Diamond, and maybe even a new Mercyful Fate. I've always heard that kind of rumor in the ether as well. But as far as like actually confirmed in the works, that new Judas Priest, that is gonna be a big deal. Can't wait to hear it, and maybe even talk to y'all about it if, you know, 9 million other people aren't already doing it on this very fucking platform. So yeah, number 2, Chinese New Year 2024 is the Year of the Dragon. Show off an album either inspired by or containing dragons on the cover. I don't have much power metal, so this was kind of difficult. But I guess you consider this a dragon, or it's King Ghidra. But the St. Vitus Mournful Cries record, that's a dragon. And the story behind this is kind of goofy to me because there's that song Dragon Time, which has nothing at all to do with dragons. But whoever the artist on here drew this crazy 3-headed, like I said, King Ghidra style dragon. Sorry, I didn't take the cellophane off. Well, yeah. But this is a great album. While I have it out, just want to talk about it for a second. I mean, this is like some top tier wino era St. Vitus, just pretty damn close to how much I love stuff like Born Too Late and the other classics within St. Vitus. And, you know, this is probably second to Born Too Late as far as my favorite wino material. V is pretty high up there as well, but this is like just an amazing record. The aforementioned Dragon Time track is really great. Shooting Gallery is like one of the most like fucking brutally honest songs about heroin abuse. Bitter Truth is really good, and Looking Glass. And this album is really solid. It's like one of their heaviest. Definitely a couple of these songs like almost border on like sludge metal, slow and heavy and everything like that. So like very cool. Yeah, Mournful Cries. Number 3. What was your favorite album that you acquired in 2023? If you have watched any video the past year on this channel, you know I bought one of my favorite records of all time this year, and that is Mercyful Fate's Don't Break the Oath. Just gorgeous. Don't need to say anything more about this. Not only have I talked it to death, but every single heavy metal nerd has said something about this record. Mostly nice, but, you know, I have a ton of people I know that can't stand King Diamond, Mercyful Fate, because he's in it, you know, they can't get into it, so. But, man, this is an amazing record, and I've talked about it in plenty of other videos, so go check them out. And I'm going to be talking about it again in my favorite retro pickups of 2023. So look out for that. Get to hear me talk about that record again. Up next, Number 4, and this one doesn't require me showing anything off. Was there a title in 2023 that you were satisfied to purchase digitally, but not on a physical media, and why? And no, but I decided to include the Akitsa record, the newest one. I can't remember the name of it. They're all in Latin, language I don't remotely speak. Does not have a vinyl version announced. I haven't seen anything on the Tour de Garde site. There's nothing on, Discogs. I think they just put out a CD of it. I don't know what the deal with it is. Maybe eventually they'll put out an LP of it through Hospital Productions. I know Hospital a bunch of years ago released pretty much their entire back catalog, which were all really great releases. And I love Akitsa. They're like one of my favorite bands going right now. And the record's really fucking good. But since it's only available on digital, that's all I can get right now. So, yeah. Let's see if that thing comes out on vinyl, and I'll be talking about it next year. Or later on in the year. So, we'll see. Alright. Number 5. Show an album that musically does not match the cover art. I've always shown Fear of God, another album that I'm thinking everybody wants me to shut the fuck up about. And I've probably mentioned this one in the same kind of category. And, the next two, grindcore, sometimes that does not get considered metal, especially in the kind of subgenre of mincecore, which both of these are. But, man, I could not get this question and not mention Canadian Horch by Archagathus. I love Archagathus. I am not showing the back cover. If you know, you know. I actually got a poster of this up in my bedroom, and it's fucking hilarious. That is one of the silliest album covers I've ever seen. And aside from, the logo and the little mincecore kind of emblem, you would not know what the fuck this was, to be honest. This is like one of the weirdest, goofiest album covers I've ever seen, and that's why I love it. Archagathus is kind of like a Agathocles worship, but more so in aesthetic, because musically this has a lot more of a kind of brutal death metal, very guttural, very the lo-fi production on a lot of these records even goes below what Agathocles is doing right now. It's very raw, very chaotic. A lot of releases. They do splits with everyone, much like Agathocles. A lot more tape-based stuff, which is starting to come out on vinyl. Some of the earlier tapes are coming out on vinyl. But I really love this record. This is probably their more kind of straightforward kind of stuff. The album they did after this, Dehumanizer, is probably my personal favorite of their LPs, but it's definitely a lot more brutal. The production's a lot more kind of wacky. Just the speeds are all over the place and stuff. This is a lot more straightforward. You kind of know what you're getting with this, and some of the songs that they've done multiple times that they re-record for this record probably sound best here, and just fucking great. And it also is a favorite of mine because when they did a split with the other mincecore band, Pizza High Five pretty much spent their entire side of their split making fun of this band and this album cover, the mincecore Fabio kind of jokes and stuff. And it's always a blast digging into this band. They have a lot of great material. And this is actually a great place to start. If you want to get into Archagathus, definitely check this out. And they have a new split LP coming out pretty soon. I've actually already heard it. It's pretty good. They're pretty consistent. The bands they do splits with are also pretty consistent. So, yeah. Archagathus. That is definitely Weird album cover for sure. Next, who is a metal artist that you have the most items by? And yeah, it's funny that these two both came together because Agathocles and I picked theatric symbolization of life because to me this is like the album I would recommend for like straight up like death metal fans. This has like the most in common with that early 90s kind of death metal sound in my opinion. So yeah, definitely go for this. This is it's a reissue from Apathetic View, which is from Germany. I don't remember what year this came out, but it's got, the original record, but it's also got a bunch of stuff that got put onto some of the Nuclear War Now reissues, like Mutilated Regurgitator, and their reissue of the first couple of demos. Just always really good stuff from this band. Like, insanely prolific. There's a ton of material. I probably have around like 40 releases, quite a bit of LPs, quite a bit of 7 inches, tons of the tapes, and yeah, it's just overwhelming amount of stuff from this band, and it's only like less than a tenth of what they have in their entire catalog, because they gotta be up to 600 by now. Last time I checked, it was like 400, and that was years ago. And they're just constantly putting out stuff. A lot of stuff you probably don't see on like Discogs or Metal Archives and stuff, just because it comes out so quickly, so many different labels. The formats are all over the place as well. A lot of CDRs and stuff. I still got a ton of like CD stuff that just never made it to another format from this band. Lot of crazy shit, and it's pretty standard, pretty good. There's even some weirder shit that I really love from these guys. I would love to do a series on them down the line. If I ever hit 100 releases that I own from this band, I have no other choice but to do a deep dive. And I've talked about them quite a bit, and yeah, always like recommending them. You probably know who they are if you're familiar with grindcore. You probably have a record that they did as a split with somebody. Even if you're not a grindcore guy, death metal, like, just punk rock, hardcore kind of stuff. They've done pretty much something with everyone, which is just very, very cool. So, Agathocles. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Number 7. Show an album that you blind bought in 2023. So, blind bought, I don't really know if this is blind bought technically, but it's the closest thing I got. I rarely blind buy stuff lately. I cannot talk. Mostly because a lot of the places I go, I have kind of a set, like, so, for example, Red Scroll. Those of you who have been to Red Scroll in Wallingford, Connecticut, know it's a giant fucking place. It definitely helps to have a roadmap for me. I jump on Discogs and just get, like, write down like 20 or 30 titles that I see on there, and I just try to get to each. And archive, usually I'll go in there looking for Blu-rays and that kind of stuff, but a lot of times I do wander upstairs. I find some really good, like, metal reissues, but again, I know a lot of those. This is one that, it's a band I'm somewhat familiar with in name, but I never dove that deep at. And then this past year, Nuclear Blast, just like they did with Dismember, which are all really great reissues. I still got to get the next 6. I got the first 3, and they're just fantastic. They were all great reissues from what I've seen. And wanted to dig into this, another great Swedish band. I've always kind of considered them on the melodic death metal kind of spectrum, even though I don't even know if that's true. But yeah, like I said, kind of ignorant towards this band. So I asked one of the guys at Archive that I know very well, um, what would you recommend out of the Hypocrisy stuff? And he told me this one, Abducted. And yeah, this has a cool vibe. Um, Kind of this alien abduction kind of theme. A lot of crazy. I haven't dug into it as much as I would have liked to, but it's solid. It's great. Like, mid '90s death metal. Definitely towards the top of that. Like, kind of. It's got like melodic elements, but I'd consider it more in line with something like Nocturnus and sort of that kind of. I guess elements by like Atheist, that kind of like alien cosmos kind of more technical kind of death metal stuff, but a little bit more of like a kind of dystopian kind of like government kind of corruption kind of mode to it. This seems a lot more like kind of it's like extraterrestrial kind of elements, but more from like a worldly kind of aspect. Rather than kind of going in those more cosmos kind of elements. So this is not so much, like your blood incantations and stuff. This is just like real crazy, like this would fit well with those kind of like shoddy 90s documentaries about like aliens and stuff like that. It's got a lot of that vibe, but put to death metal. So yeah, really cool. Abducted. Want to dig into more of their stuff as well. Some of their earlier stuff I feel like is more up my alley of that classic OSDM kind of sound. So, number 8, show a title that you own on more than one format. And dumbass me, I forgot to grab the tape of this, but either way. One of my favorite albums I've been after for a while, and was able to grab this on Black Friday. I didn't even realize they had it in stock. I guess it's like an 80s reissue, which is fine. It's got everything that the other issue had. That is Scorpions in Trance. Probably my favorite Scorpions record. I believe this is their second one from '76, and this is just amazing early German heavy metal. As usual, Klaus's vocals are just like insanely over the top. Just one of my favorite singers in heavy metal history. Just such a like otherworldly presence, and like I love Gillian and Ronnie James Dio, obviously Halford, King Diamond, and all those guys, all the siren sounds of heavy metal. But man, something about Klaus, maybe it's that like weird German affect that he has to his vocal, like just always does it for me. I love Scorpions up to the point of like that Wind of Change kind of era does nothing for me. That song, I fucking hate that song. So you'll never hear me talk about that on this channel again for that reason. But yeah, this is so fucking good. The song In Trance, probably one of their most legendary songs to come off of this era, this album. Just a beautiful. There's a lot of great ballads. I like the layout of this record. You got sort of this pattern. At first, it's a little off. You got the rockin' kind of, burner of a song, Dark Lady, just this awesome like kind of like kind of rhythm to it. Really cool opener. Then you go into two of the kind of more mellow songs, In Trance and Life's Like a River, man. Like there's some tearjerkers on this fucking record, man. It's just like you're just belting them out. This is definitely a sing-along kind of record. That's what got me into it like right away, man. Like I do love a lot of their 80s stuff, like obviously Blackout and Love at First Sting, just amazing records. But this is like a lot more kind of melancholic. There's a lot of depressing kind of shit. You got Top of the Bill, which is a lot more of that straight up kind of, you know, rockin' kind of song. You also Robot Man starts off like side two, and these are really good of those like kind of anthemic like fist pumping kind of songs. But then you also got like Living and Dying and Longing for Fire, just like these awesome like epic songs. Really, like I said, melancholic. I think Evening Wind is another one that's like just very like kind of downer, and it's just such a good fucking album. And it all fits together, you know. It's not jumping too chaotically between like the kind of moods and stuff, and it's kind of an over, like a complete kind of vision to this record. And dude, it's just Rudolph Schenker on guitar, also Ulick Roth. Like, holy shit, man. Just everyone on here is like top game fucking German musician at this time. And it's like, this would be the door kicked open, you know. Later on you get Accept and all the classic German kind of bands. But man, for me, this is like one of the best. In Trance, it's just like one of my favorite metal albums over these past couple of years. I just can't get enough. And like I said, I got it on tape, have no idea where it is. And I don't want to dig through tapes and have to edit. You know how I don't edit? I'm lazy. That's what it is. Anyway. Do some more. Sometimes the computer doesn't want to cooperate. Alright, number 9, Bookworm, show off a release conceptually inspired by literature. Now, this took a bit because I didn't want to just show off goddamn Iron Maiden like every other person is probably going to do. So I pulled up the video that Heavy Metallurgy did with Knock Mystium guy. I cannot, not Knock Mystium. God damn it, I can't remember the Kanala Black. I cannot remember the name of the band. God damn it, this is the worst kind of memory moment. But you can find it. It's all about like literature references in heavy metal. It's a great video. I cannot believe I can't remember the motherfucker's name because it's great, like kind of that kind of Native American stuff. I don't know what they call it, but like a Native American kind of influenced, you know, the mythos and everything, like legends and stuff. Heavy metal band. I'm gonna remember it right when I'm done, and yeah, I am mad at myself for that one. But anyway, I had to watch that just to get, you know, kind of an idea. What do I have in my collection that is actually like a literary reference? Because I am not showing animals. This is a metal video, and I show that goddamn record enough. So, came up with Amorphous, and I just got this past year. This is, I believe this is a 2020. Okay, it's 2018 on the back. I cannot tell. Just got this year. It is an awesome reissue from Relapse. I love Amorphous. I'm more of a fan of their first album, but this is really fucking great. Based on classic Finnish poetry and literature and folklore, all that kind of stuff. So, hell yeah, really, really great. Like I said, this goes in a more proggy kind of symphonic direction, but still really good, still really heavy. You know, First Doom, Black Winter Day, Forgotten Sunrise, just so many amazing songs on this. So, yeah, Tales of a Thousand Lakes by Amorphous. Name a band you would travel a considerable distance to see in 2024, and since I have blown off seeing this band twice for numerous reasons, and both to my regret. I still need to see fucking Candlemass, and this is the live album from whatever year this came out, 95. This is an amazing record. I love Candlemass. Real, just again, you got power in the vocalist Messiah. Obviously, he's not in the band anymore, but man, this is just such a great fucking live performance. And, their first 4 or 5 records are just some of the greatest, like epic doom, like doom metal in general. Like, Candlemass is definitely in my top 8, maybe even 5, depending on the day, of these doom metal bands, and especially like their best stuff: Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus, Nightfall, which is like one of my favorite doom metal albums. Ancient Dreams. God damn it, everything today. I'm just like, I think I need to get the Alzheimer's test at this point. But yeah, dude, like, I would love to see them live, man. I've always heard it's fucking amazing. I have a lot of people who have seen them over the years, and I'm just so fucking jealous. And if they're touring this year, I'm going to do everything I can to finally see Candlemass live, because, yeah, I love this fucking band. Okay. Soured Grapes, this is number 11. Show a 2023 release that you enthusiastically purchased but eventually lost interest in. And yeah, this happened with this. It's not a bad album. It's just, for me, a lot of people are saying that 2023 was shit for like new releases, and music was not good this year. I don't really get that personally, because I don't pay attention to like hits or what's selling and everything like that. I just kind of, there's bands that I like or bands that I'm interested in. If there's something I hear like of a genre or a kind of interesting musical idea, I'll check it out. And, if I don't like it, I don't like it. But man, a lot of the stuff this year, especially from like bands who have been around a really long time, a lot of those classic like old school death metal, some like brutal death metal, a lot of great death metal, some really good black metal this year as well. I just didn't get a lot of it. The new Panopticon's amazing. There's a lot that I've kind of missed through the cracks, but it seems to be a pretty solid year, and some even more modern bands were coming out with really good stuff. And I picked this up because one of the bands I've been a fan of for a while, and their stuff this whole album is pretty solid for what it is. It's just, it doesn't get much replay, because the one band I know very well on here, I have plenty of their other material, and I'm pretty sure they have a new album out this year, so once I listen to that, it'll probably outdo this, but it's pretty solid split for what it is. This is Cold Brats and Gel with Shock Therapy. Kind of cool album artwork. This is put out by Convulse, if you couldn't tell, because this artwork definitely has like a Convulse kind of vibe to it, and it's pretty solid. I haven't really spun it that much though. It's just kind of fell off for me. It's pretty solid. Gel is definitely kind of moving away from their traditional kind of gag and that tupa tupa beat, which they still use a lot, but I feel like they're one of the better bands in that kind of, I don't know what the hell they call it anymore. I don't know what chain punk and egg punk are. I don't know what their differences are. I just listen to this shit. I am not a good genre Nazi at all. But, Gel has always stood out. Like I said, I'm kind of a bias because I saw them a lot in the early years, and I've been really in love with that band since they were also called Sick Shit, which is an amazing fucking band. that I saw a few times as well. But yeah, pretty solid stuff. It just kind of fell through the cracks for me. Golden Child. Name an artist you feel can do no wrong. Again, everyone's gonna say this, or at least like a good amount of people are gonna say this, but you can't go wrong with fucking Death. And this is my favorite Death record, Spiritual Healing, because this kind of, you can tell by the cover, covers a lot of topics that I'm interested in, kind of religious critique and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of real downer kind of drug abuse and that kind of crazy shit on here. Living monstrosity and defensive personalities and within the mind, spiritual healing, low life. This is just like a fucking immense record, and it's kind of that transition between stuff like, you know, the Scream, Bloody Gore and Leprosy, which I love, the real primitive version of this band, moving more into the stuff you would get with Human and Symbolic, which are like 2 and 3 for me behind this record of Death's catalog, which are more on that proggy tech side, but it's not way over the top with it. And you really can't go no wrong with any Death material, but this record for me, just like the sound of it, the playing is top notch as usual, and this is really getting more into that technical kind of veracity of it, instead of just being completely brutal and pummeling, which it still is, you know, and like lyrically seems a lot more deep than just like death and murder and decay and all like the kind of typical stuff they'd be talking about. This goes more into like a kind of existential kind of realm, which you would get a lot of on Human, which is an amazing record. It's just, this record really speaks to me. The kind of, and just this cover really speaks to me because I have a lifelong fascination and hatred both of organized religion and yeah, this tells you all you need to know. The faith healer, one of the most definitely visually shocking kind of elements of the history of religion and in, you know, popular culture. Just something about the faith healer, the kind of like hucksterism behind it, that I witness, you know, it's just something so sickening about it because it takes all like the disgraceful kind of grifter mentality that a lot of modern organized religion has with it, you know, money and power and the kind of narcissism a lot of these like, you know, leaders within religious institutions exhibit. You know, it's like the faith healing definitely sums it all up in one like really disturbing package. So for a band like Death with this kind of sound, I feel like it's very, very powerful imagery on this cover. So hell yeah, can do no wrong. And even if you get into Control Denied, I think it's called, and Mantis, god damn it, yeah, Mantis, just that stuff's all amazing as well. Like Chuck, R.I.P., was just like such a beast and like just such forward thinking, you know. It's just completely reinvented death metal with every release. You got entire bands that like take one release from Death and will like base their entire sound off of it. Just fucking so intense a band for me. And kind of going on the other end of the spectrum, we got number 13, Overstayed Welcome. Name a band that you wish had quit while they were ahead. This is either going to be really unpopular choice or a very popular choice. probably depending on the person viewing it, gotta go with Dark Throne. I adore their initial run. Obviously, I love the first album, more of a death metal vibe, Soulside Journey. I love the whatever the trilogy after that is referred to. It's actually a quadrilogy because this is probably my favorite Dark Throne record, but I really do love A Blaze in the Northern Sky and Under a Funeral Moon. I see, like, I like Transylvanian Hunger. It's just probably the one I go for the least, just because it's just so kind of one note and kind of repetitive. I know a lot of people really adore that record, and it's definitely like the record that got me into Dark Throne. But I think if I go to one the most, it is definitely Panzerfaust, because this has the more kind of like epic, sort of doomy vibes to it. Just this does the most for me in the Dark Throne catalog. I love Quintessence and the Hordes of Nebula, and if you know my Instagram, which I will say at the end of the video, you will know that this record played a part in my screen name. Yeah, Panzerfaust, this is great. But then after this, you got a few really good ones. I love Hate Them and Total Death. Not big on Ravishing Grimness. I don't like Plague Wielder. I know those really get a lot of hype with people. Don't do anything for me. Their weird motor-charged crust bullshit they did later on does nothing for me, and this last run of like 3 or 4 records are just fucking yawn-inducing. It just doesn't seem to do anything for me. The production is just like not there. I remember not Arctic Thunder, Old Star. I can't remember which one was the one from in Eternal. I can't remember what the goddamn record was. They all kind of blend together for me. And that one had more of like a 70s kind of like aesthetic to the recording. And at first I did like it, but man, it did not age well within that year that it came out. I just got so fucking tired of it. I don't like his vocals anymore. I don't like how he's just like basically using fucking Dark Throne to masturbate about his record collection. Kind of hypocritical, I know, but yeah, it just does nothing for me, and especially comparing it to the classic era of Dark Throne. These early records are just some of the best second wave black metal ever put out. You know, are they my favorite Norwegian band? No, that's either Emperor or Gorgoroth, but they're pretty high up there, and that's mostly because of these first 5 records, that initial era of them. Just so fucking good. And if it wasn't this one that I go back to, it's definitely A Blaze in the Northern Sky. That opening track, Catharian Life Code, is just so unbelievably brutal. And, you know, one of the greatest songs to come out of second wave black metal, In the Shadow of the Horns, just so fucking good. So, yeah. Dark Throne, a great start, but man, I could care less. Should they hang it up? No, let them do what they fucking want, but they're not going to get another penny out of me for a while. And, you know, unless they, you know, they're actually, if Peaceville is actually paying them for every old record I buy. It's not really my thing. Blech. Anyway. Number 14, show a band or release that you bought in 2023 as a direct result of watching someone's YouTube channel. I saw a bunch of people talking about this. The only one that I can remember at this point is Melanie Loves Death Metal, great channel. And this is one of 2 records. Just wanted to pull out the one that's not like one big, long piece. this is so fucking good. You got a lot of elements of like death doom and stuff, but this is definitely like a melodic black metal just ripper. A lot of good thrash moments on here as well. But man, this is so good. And this is Ulthar Anthronomicon. And really solid release. I'm gonna talk about this in my top 10 and my top 23 of 2023, so I won't dive into it too much right now, but it's just really, really solid. The production on it is amazing. The atmosphere is just real claustrophobic and crushing, but very like triumphant and huge at the same time. So yeah, I'll talk about this more in that year-end video, but yeah, so fucking happy I came across this. It's just such a beast. And then the second album is just this massive like double side long song, and it's just so fucking good. I really want to dig more into that band now, because it's definitely a release that stands out for me from this year. So thank you to everybody who's been talking about that. You know, it's just really fucking cool. All right, number 15. Wow, this is gonna be a long one. Show Us an Otherwise Good album that ends up suffering from being too long. And this one kind of hurts, because this was my number one of 2020 or whatever year this came out. This was such a big release for me, but I do realize now that the album that came after it has definitely gotten more plays. And this is definitely a lockdown record, because when you're locked down, you have nothing else to fucking do all year. You definitely play a 2-hour album a lot more than you typically would. And also, 2 hours, it's 4 discs. I'm not really into setting that up. I have the double turntable, but at the same time, it takes a lot to kind of do this album, and just, it kind of makes a mess. Everything's stacked in a way where it's not the most convenient in the world, but Passage d'Hiver involved. There is some really great tracks on this. The ending song, which is like 20 minutes long at the on the last disc, really great. The atmosphere really works. Just the compositions, everything. I love Passage d'Hiver, but to me, the album that came the year after this, which is still pretty long, it's a double record, much more of like a Burzum-y kind of like riffing, atmospheric kind of sound to it. This is a lot more kind of like, you know, trudging through the snow and stuff like that kind of vibes. The atmosphere is still there, but it's a lot of that wind and heavy kind of sound, collage kind of vibes. And I do like it. It's just I can only do like one album of it at a time. It is a dedication to get through this whole fucking thing. And that is kind of a slight to me, because I do listen to a lot of music, but this, you know, minus the more recent Swans material from a few years ago, that was like 3 records a piece. Getting me to dig into like a 4 record set just kind of isn't my thing right now. But you know, it's still a pretty solid record. And like I said, in that time period of COVID lockdowns and everything like that, it definitely did scratch that itch. But they have better stuff in their catalog, so. But definitely recommend Passage d'Hiver in general. Solid stuff. Moving right along. Share a band that has been around for 24 years that you think is still going strong and creatively relevant. I don't have this band's newest album from this past year, which is really fucking good, but this is probably one of my top 3 from this band, and it sometimes is my number one. and this is the second to newest release from Incantation, Sect of Vile Divinities. This artwork is like some of their best stuff. Really, really love that artwork. And Incantation, man, just really solid band. Just this disgusting evil sound to the whole thing. Just, there's not a bad record. There's a couple that have like really wonky kind of production choices, like any death metal band. You know, like, for example, I really love most of Suffocation's stuff. Breeding the Spawn is that one that everybody kind of picks on, and you can hear how great those songs would have been if they didn't record with a guy that has no idea what the fuck he was doing. So, but yeah, dude, Sect of Vile Divinities, this was like such a fucking burst of energy, even with this band that has been constantly cranking out stuff. And, you know, something about these bands, Incantation, Immolation, for death metal, man, they're towards the top of the heap, man, just never fucking missing. So, yeah, not much I can go into just because everyone talks this band up and they're just so amazing. I'm buying a lot of their stuff lately, so maybe I'll do an artist deep dive, which would probably be a 3-hour long video because there's a lot to say about this band. But yeah, Incantation. Get it if you don't already. Alright, number 18. Now I'm moving. Alright. Got some slow parts to this, but y'all expect that. I talk. That's what I'm good for. Show your favorite band mascot. Again, everyone's going to show this. And how can you go wrong with the Mighty Tior, Riot, Fire Down Under? And this is another newer purchase for me. I love this record, man. A lot of people don't really... I feel like this is a record that a lot of people think it's like a great A-side, but the B-side is not really their thing. I don't get it. You know, with Don't Hold Back, Altar of the King, Run for Your Life, like, even No Lies, more of that melodic stuff. And you know me, I'm a sucker for the more melodic stuff. I'm the one person on the planet who likes Don't Go off of Point of Entry. Yeah, hate comments down there. I fucking dare you. But yeah, this is solid all the way through. And, you know, Swords and Tequila, Fire Down Under, Outlaw. Just, this whole fucking album is burners after burners, man. It's just such a furiously good record. And how can you go wrong with the fucking seal? The Mighty Tior. It's just such a goofy logo, but it sells records, and man, it's such a good fucking band. And I feel like people are really starting to get into them. I remember back in the day finding Riot stuff in the goddamn cutout bin all the time, and now you're seeing a lot of their stuff get up in, you know, valuable. A lot of people buying up Riot and getting really into Riot. Really solid band. Really great. And this is one of their best. My favorite is Thundersteel, which I don't have yet, but man, you can't go wrong with Fire Down Under. So fucking good. Another band in the future, once I get more of their stuff, definitely would like to do an artist deep dive on them as well. Number 19. Alright, last two. I'm getting there. Grab bag, share a random pull from your collection. No peeking. Okay. This is Horna. I basically picked this by just going on Discogs and hitting the random button. Yeah, Horna, Evangels of Satan. I can't pronounce it in the Finnish or whatever language it's in. Cool artwork. And yeah, I am aware people's problems with this band. Am I ever? But I adore Horna, especially this era. But man, really consistent Finnish black metal. Also, my love for other bands affiliated with them: Sargeist, Behexen, Satanic Warmaster can go fuck himself. I am not a fan. I hate his music. I hate the people that he does splits with. I hate him in general. And yeah, he played a part in a lot of the Horna material. But you know what? Music definitely makes up for that. It's an amazing career that this band has had. And this record is just so creepy. Just so, like, the fucking riffs on this are just so haunting and like eerie and earwormy at the same time. It's just that kind of, like, it sticks with you, man. This record will haunt your fucking dreams, man. It's just so fucking good. So yeah, Horna. And I just realized I fucked up and ran way too fast, but I'm not gonna edit. Just gonna keep going. So going back to number 16, you show your favorite band shirt. This is a long sleeve. They said t-shirt, but wanted to show off this great holder shirt for their record. Gaster, God's Slastering, Hymns of a Forlorn Peasantry, which is one of my favorite records of the last few years. I know they have like a new LP in the works. I think it's coming out this year. Their EP from a year or two ago was really fucking amazing. And I want to hear how they do on a $20 spin, and I do hear that the new record is going more in that direction of a more kind of raw kind of black metal. This definitely goes in a more kind of like atmospheric, a little bit of symphonic, more in the realm of like kind of early Nocturnal Mortem, like lunar poetry and some lambonic art kind of stuff early on. Maybe even some Carpathian Forest as far as like the riffs and everything like that. But yeah, really solid record. I just love this shirt. It's hard to get it on in the light because it's quite big. But yeah, I bought this at Holy Mountain. Really great printer. I don't think they have any more of those available, but they definitely always do have a lot of holder merch and a lot of other great merch from other great acts. So definitely check them out. And getting back to the end of the list, number 20, show an album from a metal band that others might not consider metal. And due to sketchy politics, this is another band that a lot of people might not even consider good anymore. But, despite that, despite certain members kind of having shitty opinions, and interests, and friends, yada, 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 I adore Amoebics. And to me, this is pretty metal in its approach. Definitely the closest you'll get to like a straight up metal band with these kind of anarcho era, early crust. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with Amoebics. A lot of great like post-punk and early industrial kind of influences within there, like fast anarcho-inspired, like proto-crust, very doomy at times. The album Arise, everybody loves. Like, it's just such packed with anthems, Agathocles and Axeman, the title track. This is really good too. This is The Power That Remains. It's half. It's got a half studio, half live. The live side is usually what I usually throw on. It's got Arise, Drink and Be Merry, and Nobody's Driving. Just a lot of classic stuff. My favorite stuff that I want to get from them is the No Sanctuary. I believe it's a compilation of like singles and stuff. But that's probably my favorite Amoebics material. But everybody loves, a good amount of this band. Definitely a lot of influence from groups like Venom, maybe even some Bathory in there, but really, and they'll say this themselves, a really big influence on this band is Killing Joke, especially that first album, the self-titled. And I feel like when I listen to a lot of that early first wave black metal kind of stuff, when I listen to, I've always said Mayhem's Death Crush sounds like a crust punk record to me. Like the riffs are a lot more in crust punk kind of feel to me. I know that sounds insane, and I've had people give me the weird look of what the fuck are you talking about, but like a lot of that early like black metal stuff, I hear Rudimentary Peni, I hear Caius and Gizm and all these other bands I've referenced a million fucking times within that, and you definitely hear a lot of Amoebics, especially that like classic era of Monolith and Arise, and just really great songwriting, really dense atmosphere. The kind of mythology behind it is very cool. And if you're not too down with Baron, I don't blame you. Definitely check out Zygo, which is, I think his name is Spider, the other member of this band, had his band Zygo, and that is some amazing stuff. Believe they have like 2 LPs under that name, and that is almost on par with the classic Amoebics material. So, like I said, you have a problem with supporting this band because of certain members' bullshit opinions and yada yada yada, definitely check out Zygo. But if you get past it, definitely Amoebics is one of the best. So. And that will about do it. Hell yeah. Kept it at pretty much an hour, so, rambled a bit, but, what do you expect? It's 20 albums, I'm gonna talk. So, yeah, throughout the next couple of weeks, got the punk tag and the generic non-genre vinyl tag. Looking forward to doing those. Also talking about, doing another unboxing for Vinegar Syndrome. This month it's going to be gigantic. A lot to talk about there. There's a lot of new releases that I ended up picking up that I'm really interested in digging into. They have a new label, sub-label, that I'm really, really excited about. And they have a new partner label I'm like over the moon about. So I can't wait to talk about that stuff. And yeah, I'm going to start digging into a lot of other people's metal tags. I haven't done that yet. I don't really like doing that, like I want to do mine first and then I'll go watch other people's and they'll have like ideas on there. I'm like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. But usually I like to do mine first. Just, kind of that I don't know. I don't have a word for it. I keep failing with words in this video. It's getting to that point. If you got any opinions on the records I got, if you want to share your own list, if you want to share your own experiences with some of these choices. Again, if you want to call me out for whatever, feel free, I'm usually pretty positive down there in the comments. But man, if I can learn from you, we're teaching each other. This is the conversation. So I would appreciate constructive criticism on both ends, and maybe some non-constructive. Let's troll a bit. Let's have some fun. Probably shouldn't encourage you all with that, but fuck it. So yeah, if you haven't done so yet, like and subscribe. I got more videos coming down the pipeline. Like I said, I got my tops of 2023. Reissues, some retro purchases I made, and my top 23 records of the year. And that one's probably coming last because I got a lot more I still need to buy. I like to have them all on physical so I can just show them to you, talk about it. It makes it easier on my end. So look out for those. Got some other videos on partner labels and sub labels and some stopwatch and listens. Probably gonna make some Red Scroll runs in the future. Got my birthday next month. I got a lot coming up, and at some point doing my 1 year on YouTube video this month. So stay tuned for that around the 25th. So got a couple of weeks till I gotta really start posting that. Man, time flies. I'm still blown away that it's already like mid January. It's fucking mind blowing. It's what it is. If you want to find me on social media, I am on Instagram as the Hordes of Manzerfaust. There's that fucking Panzerfaust Dark Throne reference for you. And that'll about do it. So this is Mike Manzer with another Manzerfaust Productions video. Stay fucking metal.